My name is Rohini, and I'll be your host for today's session. Whether you're an educator, an academic leader, or simply passionate about the future of learning, you're in a fantastic session with a truly exceptional expert. Well, before we dive in, if you've ever wondered what is AI certs, let me give you a quick introduction. AI certs offer role-based AI and blockchain certifications aimed at fostering lifelong learning. Our mission is to help organizations build smarter, future ready workforces, adapt to change, and drive growth. And here's a big vision. We are on a mission to certify 1 billion people worldwide. Well, let's take a moment to watch a small, brief video and discover more about AI sets.
The only constant is change. Staying ahead means constantly adapting, evolving, and growing. You need the right skills to thrive. Artificial intelligence and blockchain are revolutionizing everything we do, from how we work, create, and solve problems, to how we secure data and build trust in a digital world. Do you have the skills to thrive in this new era of AI? To stay ahead, you need the right tools and knowledge. But with so much information available, where do you start? AI Certs empowers you to equip yourself for the future with industry-recognized, role-based certifications in AI and blockchain. Whether you're an individual looking to upskill and advance your career, or a business seeking to empower your workforce with cutting-edge AI and blockchain expertise, AI Certs is your trusted partner. Our certifications are crafted by a team of leading industry experts, ensuring they align with the latest trends and real-world demands. We understand that everyone learns differently. Our flexible learning options allow you to study whenever and wherever it works best for you. With a tech background or without one, our comprehensive range of role-based certifications equip you with the in-demand skills you need to succeed. Stand out in the job market with recognized AI and blockchain credentials. Leverage the new technology to become more efficient, innovative, and impactful. Help your company thrive in the AI era. AI Certs, empowering individuals and businesses to lead the AI revolution.
Before we begin, here are a few quick housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded and we'll share the replay after the event. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat throughout the session and we'll address them during the Q&A section. Make sure to stay engaged. This is a hands-on demo and we'd love you to have a maximum participation. Well, now let's talk about the expert who will be leading today's session. Our speaker today is George, a leading expert in AI and education, all the way from Cyprus, Middle East. George has over 15 years of experience in the intersection of education, technology, and innovation. He is the founder of Concierge AI, an AI-driven platform revolutionizing educational content generation, and Code School Cyprus, a coding academy for kids. He has dedicated his career to fostering digital literacy and innovation. More recently, George has focused on integrating AI into organizations, developing specialist training programs that help professionals leverage AI tools, boost productivity and innovation. His expertise span curriculum development, AI strategy, and emerging technologies, making him the ideal guide for today's session. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming George. Hey, George, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rohini. So glad to be here with you. Thank you for the invitation to speak. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, depending on where you are. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the use of generative AI in education, and I'm going to give you a live demo. Allow me to start with a very insightful quote from a visionary leader, Bill Gates. I truly believe this quote. I do believe that generative AI is revolutionary and that it's not just another tool. It's actually the next layer of infrastructure. It's the new electricity. And it has already started to redefine how we learn and how we work. Let me give you a brief introduction to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is technology that allows computers to do things that usually require human thought. Basically, it's software that mimics human cognitive abilities. It has the ability to learn from data and perform predictions. For example, the Netflix algorithm, where it will suggest new series and new films to watch based on what you have already watched. It can recognize problems and suggest solutions. For example, navigation on Google Maps. It can also see and understand images like Face ID on your iPhones. And it can also mimic understanding and produce human natural language like Siri and Duolingo. Duolingo is an application which helps you learn foreign languages. Okay, let's use our smartphones and scan this QR code and let us know which chatbots, AI chatbots you are using. If you cannot scan the code, you can go to slido.com and then enter the code EDU. And then I'll share the results with you. Okay, let's see the results coming in. So most of you have used ChatGPT, also Copilot and Perplexity. Wow, Perplexity is a big one. Not so many of you have used Gwen or Mistral. And we're going to talk a bit about these chatbots as well. Excellent, great stuff. Okay. So here is the list of the chatbots that I've mentioned in my poll. I'd like to speak a little bit about each one. ChatGPT, obviously you all know about. This is the first large language model that came out back in November 2022. Overall, it's a great model and has a great web application with a lot of added features like the Canvas feature, reasoning model. We can add files that we can ask questions on. Claude is another great model. It was built by Anthropic, which Anthropic was created by people who left from OpenAI, who created ChatGPT. Claude is an amazing model. They've released version 3.7. The specialty of Claude is that it can create really engaging tools that you can use in your classrooms. It can code, and then you can publish those tools for your students. Gemini is Google's effort into large language model. Overall, it's a very good, it has good models with huge context windows. Context window is how much memory this model has before it starts forgetting things within your discussion. But it's, I would say that it's not as good as Claude or ChatGPT. Perplexity, you already said that you're using Perplexity. Personally, I've stopped using Google search because I use Perplexity. And Perplexity is a hybrid, it's a hybrid tool which uses search results and then composes a response using a large language model. So it goes out, it searches for results based on what you ask it, and then it will synthesize a response and bring it back. So eliminating all the hassle of you going through all the links and reading to find your reply. Mistral is not very well known. It's a European company. It's based in France. Their models are not bad. They're quite good. They have also image creation, like you can create images. You can attach documents, so you can ask questions and add more context. But generally, they are not at par with ChatGPT or Claude. Copilot is Microsoft's version of ChatGPT. I'm not a huge fan of Copilot, to be honest. Haven't had great results with it, but it has a strong point. And its strong point is that it has a very good, it has the Microsoft ecosystem around it. And you can use all your documents, which are saved on OneDrive, on Microsoft OneDrive. directly without having to upload them onto Copilot. For example, you could have a presentation, a document, a spreadsheet, and you can ask questions on, you can ask Copilot questions based on those documents. You can ask it, for example, to improve a document, a report, a presentation. So that's its strong point, the integration with the Microsoft ecosystem. Now, the last two, DeepSeek and Gwen. DeepSeek and Gwen, they're both Chinese models. DeepSeek is truly on par with ChatGPT. It's really good. Okay, it has a reasoning model as well. It can also search the internet like ChatGPT does. Claude cannot. But lately, it's been having a lot of capacity issues, and a lot of times when I've tried it, I get the server busy. I think a lot of people are using it because it's free, compared to ChatGPT, where you need a Plus account to perform a lot of chat interactions. And Gwen is actually a very good model. I would say on par with ChatGPT, as good as ChatGPT. The only issue is that it's a bit slow. It is a bit slow. And it was created by Alibaba, a huge Chinese conglomerate. Its advantage, and it's something that no other model offers, is that it can create short 5-second videos. It does take about 20 minutes to create the videos, but it does create videos and you have something to work on. So this is a presentation of the models. And now we'll get into a live demo. I'll demonstrate how we can create educational content. And I'll also demonstrate how we can use prompts to create simulations for students, and also use a very special prompt to create another prompt, which educators can use. I'm going to try to do everything on Gemini because it's totally free. It has a huge context window. This Gemini, I'm using it through AI Studio. You can also use it from gemini.google.com. It's exactly the same thing. There are a few differences. There are a few settings that you can play with here, but in terms of responses, it's the same thing. Okay, so let's say that you want to create a new course, okay? We'll do the easy way first, and then I'll show you a more structured way to get the best results. So let's say that we want to create a course on digital marketing. I will just type, let me enlarge this, okay. Please help me create a course on digital marketing addressed to marketing professionals. Let's start with the description. Okay, and now it starts creating a description. It gives me a couple of options, okay? A short and punchy and a more detailed. It also gives me focused on specific areas, for example, SEO and content, or on problem solving, problem and solution focused. I mean, there are a lot of options that I get. And then, okay, tell me more. How can we perfect this course description? Okay, so my audience are experienced in social media, but not in SEO or advertising. Choose the best option and provide a description. Let's say an attractive complete description, including the main objectives. Run it. Okay. Okay, description. Elevate your marketing impact, go beyond social media. Wow, amazing. This is great stuff. This comprehensive course is designed to specifically for social media experts seeking to expand their skill set and drive even more significant results. So you see that it has adapted the description to what I told it. What you learn, excellent. Some course objectives, amazing. This is really good. Key improvements and rationale. Okay, excellent. However, there's a different way of doing this. I mean, you can continue and iterating, continuing to iterate and get something better, or I could do something like this. This is a pre-prepared template that I create, okay, where I give it the context, I give it a role, an action, a format, and an audience. Okay, so this is a template I use. It's pre-prepared for me. I mean, I created it. I use it all the time so I can get consistent results. And then here I'll just type in the course name. Digital marketing. The format is fixed. I want a course overview. I want the objectives, the benefits, and the audience. And my audience are experienced marketing professionals. So when I run it, I'm getting a very specific format in my description. Course overview, the key objectives, the key benefits, description of the audience, and I'm done. I can keep iterating if I want, but let's say that now I want to create a course outline. I already have my template prepared that I'm going to show you. And here are the instructions. I want to use the above course description to create a comprehensive course outline consisting of, let's say, 8 modules. I want Gemini to act as an experienced instructional designer, an expert educator. And these are the instructions. I want Gemini to use the context, which is this, the role, which is this, the format, which I'm going to give below, and the target audience that I'm going to give below, to create a course outline. And to do this, here are the steps. Analyze the description to identify the course objectives, intended audience, prerequisites, and key topics. And then ensure that the content under each heading is concise, informative, and reflects the essence of the course description. So I'm giving it a format. And here is an example. And AI is very good at following examples. So basically, I'm telling it, create a module title and then 5 lessons. And then my audience, see description above. And let's run it. So here is my course outline, exactly like I wanted it. Okay, module 1 with 5 lessons, module 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. I mean, now I could start doing changes on it, for example. Like, let's say, I don't like module 6. Please propose a different topic. Okay. Option 1, option 2, option 3, 3 different options. And this is how Gemini works, okay? In another language model, you would get different results, okay? And then it's up to you to customize it and change it. Let's say I want to go with option 2, which is mobile marketing and app strategy. Excellent, okay. Let's go with option 2. Okay, it's done the changes. Great. What's my next thing that I want to do? Okay, I want to create the learning outcomes for this course. So here's my template where I explain how I want the learning outcomes to be created. I'm telling that I want to create the learning outcomes for the above course outline. I'm giving it a role. You're an expert instructional designer and course creator. And I'm giving some criteria. Create one learning outcome per module, provide a short and concise explanation of why you chose that outcome. So I know the thinking behind it. And then every outcome you create needs to have the following characteristics. It has to be action-oriented, has to use Bloom's taxonomy, which is a leading instructional designer theory. And the outcome has to have clear benefits. It has to be concrete and concise, and it has to speak directly to the learner. And here I'm giving it the format. I want you to format it in this way. First, the learning outcomes, and then the explanation. Let's run it. It's quite fast. You see, okay. Learning outcomes for each module, split into entry level, mid-level, and mastery level. And then the explanation. Why I asked it also to create the explanation, because I want to use this context, I want to use this explanation for my next step. And if I don't need to change anything, I'm going to go to my next step, which is creating the skills, knowledge, and attitude objectives for this course. I have my template pre-prepared, which I'm going to explain. Okay, here is my context. I wanted to create knowledge, skills, and attitudes-based learning objectives using the respective criteria below for the above learning outcomes and their explanations. Okay, so it already knows the learning outcomes. It already has the explanation. So this is a great place to start. I don't need to tell it again. I'm giving it the same role as before. And I'm also asking it to utilize strong research skills to incorporate the latest information and trends. And I could also enable Google search here. So it can search. And I'm giving a specific criteria for each type of skills objectives. So I'm asking to identify practical abilities, and I'm asking to use specific verbs like we do in instructional design. Okay, these are all based on Bloom's taxonomy. And I also want it to ensure that each objective emphasizes the benefit to the student. Okay, and each type of objective has slightly different criteria and different verbs. Now I'm telling it how to format the objectives, and I'm going to run this prompt. And here we go. Each module has its own clear and consistent across the board objective, okay? And it's clear to my audience why they should follow the course, so that you can proactively adapt your marketing strategies, so that you can better understand the context in which your marketing decisions are made. And each module has its own skills, knowledge, and attitude objective. And of course, I can create more objectives. I can create 2, 3, 4, even more, okay? Excellent. Now I have my description, I have my outline, I have my learning outcomes, and I have my skills, knowledge, and attitude objective. Okay, what can I do next? I mean, let's try to create a lesson plan for one of our lessons. Okay, let's go back to our outline. And let's say that I want to create a lesson plan for advanced social media strategy aligning with business objectives. Okay. Here I have my template for lesson plan again that I'm going to explain. I'm giving it a context. I want to develop a comprehensive and engaging lesson plan on the topic of, and then I'm going to paste my lesson. This plan should be designed to effectively convey the subject matter to my audience, see above, while meeting the instead of saying the below objectives, I would say the objectives for module, I think it was module 5, for module for module 5 as specified above. The lesson plan should also adhere to, and I can say specific standards if I want, to, let's say, UK national standards. Say, I think it's national UK NVQ standards, and have a duration of, let's say that I want this lesson to be 120 minutes long. I'm telling to assume a role again of an instructional designer and giving the few more details of what to do. And I'm asking it to use the context, the role, the format, and the target audience to create a lesson plan that includes the following components. And I'm specifying the components that I want. And of course, you can change it. You can do your own lesson plan structure as you want. Okay, I'm asking to follow structured format. And then for audience, I would say the plan is intended for the audience mentioned above, considering their special needs and so on. And then I'm going to run it. And let's see the lesson plan. Okay, assuming the role of an educational expert, of an expert instructional designer, 120 minutes, aligning with business objectives. And here is my plan. Here is my lesson plan. It explains how it's aligned to level 4-5 of the NVQ, the National Vocational Qualification of the UK. It gives me the learning objectives like as above. It tells me the materials and resources and the instructional sequence and how long I should spend on each section. It gives me an activity, tells me that the direct instruction is 40 minutes. How to prepare the content delivery, differentiation techniques, and an activity. And then I also have practical application, assessment and feedback, a summary, the technology integration, everything that I've asked, evaluation methods, differentiation strategies for diverse learners. Okay. And I mean, I can go back and change anything that I want. I can even drill down. For example, I could also say, what are some strategies to adapt my content to participants with ADHD? And then I get my suggestions. I can give a clear agenda, breaking down large topics into smaller ones, signposting, maximizing engagement and interactivity, active learning, mixing up the format of the content, improving clarity and conciseness, I mean, a lot of very good suggestions, which again, I can go back and customize based on my content. Okay, I can ask it to go back and perform some changes or adapt my content, a specific section. For example, I could ask it to adapt a specific section from the activity or the content delivery. Okay, what else can we do? The lesson plan mentions a case study. Okay, so let's go make a case study for this. Here is my pre-prepared prompt template, where I explain that I want to create an engaging, thought-provoking, decision-forcing teaching case for my module, for my lesson above. The case must reference at least one real organization relevant to the topic, contain links to articles about that organization, citing resources. The audience for this course is the description above. My learning objectives for this lesson are see lesson plan above. So I reference previous content. Now I ask it to act as the world's best teaching case writer, excelling at writing decision-forcing cases. And here are the steps that I'm asking it to take. Write an engaging, thought-provoking, decision-forcing teaching case for the specific topic. Reference at least one real organization. Ensure the case is comprehensive. Detail a specific dilemma and summarize the case briefly to ensure alignment with the learning objectives. I'm giving it a format. The teaching case must be structured with clear beginning, middle, and end. I'm also asking it to set up the context and the main dilemma and an engaging introduction, present a decision-forcing scenario, and conclude with a summary. Target audience, see above. Let's run it. Okay. So the teaching case is called the Oatly Backlash, Authenticity versus Business Objective. Oatly is a Swedish oat milk company, disrupted the dairy industry, and then it goes to explain, it gives us an introduction, it gives us the decision-forcing scenario, it tells you that you're the chief creative officer, and you've been having a backlash on social media. People are trying to want to boycott us, and there are several options on the table. Double down on authenticity, adopt a more corporate tone, and so on. It gives me resources, it gives me articles, and it gives me a summary. So we've started from a title, and we ended up creating a lesson plan and a case study for this specific title. In what? In 20 minutes. Yes, it's not perfect because I did it in a hurry, but you as the subject matter experts can do a much better job. You don't need to know all the fancy prompts, which, by the way, I can give them to you, but you can start asking your questions and refining the output. And then you can also ask the AI for specific directions to help you create a case study. Okay, now let's move on to see how we can use AI to create simulations. And for this, I'm going to use Claude. At least I'm going to try to use Claude because I'm on the free plan. So I'm going to try to use all the free plans that you can use as well. So I'm going to use as a prompt. This is a huge prompt. You don't need to learn how to do this. This is a prompt. I didn't create the prompt. Okay. The prompt will create a negotiation scenario. Okay. And the prompt is taken directly from a research paper, which was written by Ethan Mollick. Ethan Mollick is, I highly recommend that you subscribe to his newsletter and follow him on LinkedIn as well. Let me type in the chat. The paper where you can find the prompts. Let's run this prompt. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to explain everything. I would love to sit down and explain everything. I run a big course, which I go through everything step by step, but this is just a 45-minute session and just wanted to show you the capabilities of AI chatbots. Okay, so I'm running this prompt and I'm creating a simulation scenario where I'm going to learn negotiating, okay? So it says, can you tell me a bit about your experience negotiating? Have you had formal training or is it something you're just beginning to explore? I am a novice, just starting. Okay, and now it will give me negotiation scenario options. Do you want to do a salary negotiation, purchasing a car, or a flea market bargain? Okay, let's do 2, purchasing a used car. Great choice, okay. And then it goes on with the scenario where I need to role play. Okay, here is your situation. Based on your research of similar cars in your area, you believe a fair price is around $9,500 to $10,000. So we can adapt these scenarios to educational context. We can also upload a document with our material, which the chatbot can use to base its questions. And we can, of course, change the instructions to make sure that it accounts for varying styles, learning styles, and levels. So this is just this is just a demonstration that the prompts can be used to create simulations. We're coming to 40 minutes past when we started the webinar. I could show you, let me show you another prompt. So this prompt that I'm going to paste here, this you can also find it at the link that I've pasted in the chat. And this prompt will help you create a prompt which you can use with your students. Let's take a look how it works. Okay, so what's one teaching task that you would like to speed up, or automate? Let's say that I want to teach my students about the environment. Okay, could you tell me what grade, level, or age? Yes, my students are 10 years old in elementary school. What environmental topics? Okay, I'm out of free messages. Let's try to push this. You choose. I can't continue it. I'm sorry. Let me take it into another. I'll take it back into Gemini here. Okay. Students, environment. Okay. 10-year-old students. Okay. Yes, all these sound great. So I want to teach about recycling, conservation, ecosystem. What kind of output are you hoping for? For example, you're looking for lesson plans, activity ideas, quiz questions, or something else. Looking for lesson plans. Okay, it's a bit stuck, as you can see. Let me try to stop it. Refresh it. Okay, so this prompt obviously doesn't work on Gemini. It does work in ChatGPT. You can find the actual prompt in the paper I've given you. And I think that's all we have time to demonstrate. Obviously, we didn't have a lot of time, but I'd be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn, or I'd be happy to pass on my details if you need more information or help on this issue. Yeah, that's my LinkedIn. Thank you, Rahini. Okay, so let's take a look at the ethical considerations of using AI in education. And I would love to have your opinion. If you can scan this code and let me know what you think about using AI in education. Okay, so I'm glad. Okay, AI is transforming the education industry. We all agree on that. We all agree that most of us agree that there should be transparent policies for the use of AI chatbots, and that it should be introduced, literacy should be introduced in academic and learning environments. And a few of you feel that educators should use AI detectors to prevent learners from using AI chatbots. So this is a huge discussion, guys. Using AI detectors is been proven to be totally unreliable, unfortunately. And we need to move on and do something else. We need to change the way that we deliver assessments and assignments. But it's a huge issue. We don't have a lot of time to talk about assessments. But generally speaking, there are ways where we can introduce generative AI in schools, universities, and in educational context, and we can also maintain the integrity, the academic integrity. And one of the ways is to introduce the use and allow the use and teach the students how to use it properly, and then have policies as to when students can and cannot use AI for their assignments and for their assignments and homework. So there are a lot of ethical considerations when we are talking about AI, introducing AI in education. Bias, there is a lot. I mean, these models, they have bias. They do have bias because it's in their training data. Okay, and they may represent skewed historical narratives or reinforce stereotypes. Okay, confirmation bias. AI might prioritize dominant viewpoints, stifling critical thinking and reinforcing existing beliefs. Cultural bias, overrepresentation of one culture, like Western-centric examples and values, and this may alienate educators and students as well. Stereotypical bias, so the overrepresentation of one culture, for example, the Western-centric examples that we usually get when we ask questions. And we need to be aware that bias is there and there is not much we can do. Basically, we need to educate ourselves and our students to critically think the output that AI chatbots generate. There are also concerns about privacy and data security. Where does the data that we feed into the AI go? Do some of the Chinese models take the data from the backend and use it in some way? What are the privacy policies? So there are a lot of concerns in this area. And then the assessments, we talked about it briefly. What's cheating? I think we need to redefine what's cheating. It's already been proven, as I said, that AI detectors don't work. So we need to redefine what cheating is. We need to redefine how we deliver assessments. We need to find other ways to test that our students, our learners know, instead of just asking them to recite back information to us. Some practical applications. I mean, we've seen some applications. A lot of the applications are based on creating content. But there are a lot of other innovative ways that you can think of, like differentiating material, using different kind of quizzes, asking for ideas on a debate, for example, or on a discussion in the classroom. We can definitely talk about automating some content creation, like I showed you earlier with the prompts. And we can also use some of the prompts that I showed you earlier to create simulations for language learning. That's all we have time to, all I had time to show you. And Rohini, maybe we can take some questions.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think I should start by saying a big thank you, George. It was an amazing session, and I think it's incredible to see how AI in action and how it can be applied in education so seamlessly, right? So we do have a lot of questions coming up, and I'm going to quickly read out. Okay, so we have one coming up from Anamika. She is asking if we want to make videos on basic concepts of maths or English, like numbers and alphabets, could you please explain how it could be done?
So there are tools, paid tools, which you can use to create videos. And the way this work, one example is HeyGen, heygen.com. So how it works is you take a video of yourself talking about something. The video has to be at least 2 minutes long. It doesn't need to be a video about an educational concept. It could be about anything. You just speak normally to the camera, and then you upload this video to this platform. And the platform will train and learn the way you speak. And then you don't need to record any more videos. You just type your content, or you copy paste it in the platform, and the platform will create a video automatically of you speaking in any language you want.
Brilliant. Thanks for answering that. The next question is, to what degree can you trust the answers AI gives you? And at what point do you need to use your human brain to override AI's proposals?
I always use my brain. We always need to use our brain. We cannot rely only on the AI. The AI is very good at doing certain things, but our brain is good at critical thinking. AI does not think, it mimics thinking. So whatever output we get, we need to put it through our critical mind. Apologies, but we did everything very quickly, very fast, okay? And you might got the wrong impression. I don't design my courses like that. I do spend the time and I refine a lot of my content, but I just wanted to show you all the use cases. Every step along the way, you need to read everything, verify everything, make sure that it's correct, make sure that it's unbiased, and make sure that it represents you. There are some problems with hallucinations, but you can solve that using Perplexity, for example. Okay, you can use Perplexity to get some facts from a search engine, from the internet, and then copy those facts, put them into a large language model, and ask the language model, like Gemini, to use those facts to create a new module in your course, for example.
Thanks so much, George. I think that was a very detailed explanation. We'll move forward to the next question. What are the best ways of designing prompts to get an appropriate inputs from AI?
Practice. You need to practice. You need to understand how this works, how these large language models work. And to do that, you need at least 10 hours of practice in the large language model. You need to use it extensively to understand the sort of replies that you'll get based on what you ask. And I would encourage you to use all of the chatbots that I've mentioned, so you get an idea of all the differences and understand which one is best for you. Eventually, I mean, if you read a lot, then you will come across prompting frameworks, which is what I've used to create my prompts. So prompting frameworks, in my case, I used CRAFT, so context, role, action, format, and target audience, CRAFT. This is a really good prompting framework because it reminds me to keep giving more information to the AI so that it produces the best result. But I think my best prompting hack is the following. Whatever you want to ask for the AI to generate, add this sentence in the end. Ask me questions until you are 95% certain you will get this right. If you add this to the end of your question, it will ask you a lot of questions which you can answer to improve the context, and then it will give you a much, much better response. Okay, I'm going to type this into the chat so people can copy and paste it. So the prompt hack was ask me questions until you are 95% certain you'll get this right. Okay, so if you add this at the end of your prompts, you can be certain and you answer the questions as best as you can be certain you will get one of the best replies. But eventually, you can create your own prompt templates like I did and keep them saved somewhere so you can automate some of your content creation.
Amazing. I think that was quite the realistic response. Moving forward, as teachers, if they have to explain stories to students in various different regional languages, how do they create animations with voice notes?
Sorry, could you please repeat the question?
Sure.
I missed a part of it. Yeah.
Sure. So I'm going to read it out the way it is. If I want to explain stories to my students in Hindi or English, these are regional languages, how to create animations with voice notes using AI?
I haven't, honestly, I've never tried that again in the past. How to create animation? I'm not sure. I don't know. You can probably search for a tool, but I haven't heard of any tool which create animations. You can definitely create infographics and other images or well, not images, but you can use tools like napkin.ai to create visuals, but I haven't heard of a tool which creates animations. Maybe I'll Google that and get back to Rohini. Maybe they can email.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I haven't
sure.
heard of anything tool.
Yeah, we could probably definitely, do a little bit of research and
Yeah.
we can send that across as a response. Absolutely. So going forward, George, we have another question. AI can produce courses for which it already has information on the internet. To what degree can it be challenges and be creative and think innovatively?
Okay, so knowledge is created through research and experiments. Okay, so the AI cannot perform experiments, and it can perform research on existing information, but it cannot go out and, for example, ask people for information yet. Okay, so it cannot generate new information. However, what it can do is it can generate new insights from existing information, and thus I think we can use it to innovate ourselves. Maybe it's not an innovative. I think it can produce innovative insights based on the information that it already knows or that we feed it, but it's not going to generate new knowledge. I think that generating new and innovative insights, it can do with our help. Our role in this is to co-create these insights and to use AI as a thought partner, as a sounding board, exchanging ideas until we reach a specific output which we feel is right to use in our classrooms, for example.
Perfect. So the next question is there any app which filters out the questions from a question paper on the basis of concept and chapter?
Um, so you have a paper. Is that like a
So
digital or like a
yeah,
like a printout or so?
y- y-
I don't know if this is an AI problem. So I don't know if there is any clarification.
yeah,
Um,
I think it's more to do with the examinations where, the teachers are giving away the questions and,
yeah.
they are asking if there's an AI command or a prompt that can, filter out the question paper basis, the concept and chapter, if I've got that
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have an image, if you have a physical piece of paper, you can take a picture of it and you can upload it on a chatbot, and then you can ask it any question you want. If you have it in digital format, again, you can upload it and ask it any questions. So, for example, if I have a paper which covers the material of 10 chapters, I guess I could ask it to categorize the questions per chapter, and it would do the best it could, identifying patterns in the questions and categorizing the questions based on the chapter. Okay, or what you could do is you could upload it the material, your material, upload it as well the examination paper, and then ask it to use the material to filter the questions based on the chapters in the book.
Absolutely. That's interesting. Well, moving forward, we have a question which says, how do we get the prompt for the different content uh, sh being shared? So I think this is more to do with the prompts that you shared during the session, George.
Okay.
If that
Yeah.
can be shared, I think we could
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
send it out post
Yeah.
the session.
Definitely.
And yeah, so the next question is, will the training be recorded? Yes, it is getting recorded, and we will be sharing the link with you. soon after the session. Just give us a day.
Okay.
Can we use it to encourage peer learning?
Sorry, can you use it too?
I think I'm kind of trying to understand this question better. Uh, can AI be used to encourage peer learning?
To encourage peer learning?
I think yes.
I mean, I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
Okay. You are the expert, the person who asked the question. And yes, what you need to do is have a conversation with an AI on peer learning. What is peer learning? Why is it important? How can you use it in your classes? How can you encourage your students to learn from each other? Definitely, yes. Of course, you can use it to encourage it. How you can create specific activities using AI, which encourage peer learning. You can assign mentors, mentees, or just simply encourage people to talk to each other. Of course, you can.
Yeah, that's right. The next question is, would you also use cloud to create a course?
Yes, I mean, I would create. I could use any AI chatbot to create a course. Claude is very good. Unfortunately, I ran out of free messages. I wanted to do everything with free chatbots, okay? And free chatbots, some of them, like Claude and ChatGPT, they have limits. So after a few messages, they'll stop working. Gemini generally has much higher limits, so it will not stop working. Mistral, the same. DeepSeek, the same with Gwen, but they have their own problems. So feel free to experiment with all of these chatbots and use whichever suits you. But generally speaking, Claude is an amazing model. I would definitely use it to create courses.
Yeah, I think the paid version usually gives more of
Yeah, oh, yeah.
limits, right?
Yeah,
So if
definitely.
yeah, I think if anyone's interested and going to be using the AI tools very regularly, I think we could recommend them to go for a paid version as well to unlock more features. So the next question is, can the prompts and codes be applied to any LLM?
The ones that I showed you, yes, they can. The ones that I used for creating content, yes, they can. They are quite simple. The ones that I used for creating the simulations, no, they need to be at the level of ChatGPT and Claude. Otherwise, they will not work. You saw that in Gemini, it didn't quite work. So it needs to be an advanced model to work. But
Got that.
the other ones
Yeah.
for the content generation, the course material, yes, they are quite simple, and every model can follow them, the instructions.
Thanks, George. The next question's a little lengthy. Please bear with me. Is it possible to instruct the AI channels to create or recreate video content on a class lesson after providing images or ideologies in the human thoughts? How can this be done? Which of the AI apps can be used to achieve this? Let me know if you want me to repeat it.
So recreate videos based on images.
I'll read that out again.
Okay.
Is it possible to instruct the AI channels to create or recreate video content on a class session after providing images or ideologies in the human thoughts? I think it's more to do with their prompts. How can this be done? What which of the AI apps can be used to achieve this?
Okay. So there are a lot of questions within this question. I'll try to unpack it from as best as I can. Currently, there are tools which can do text to video. Okay, so if you Google search, or if you go to Perplexity and look for tools, AI tools which can do text or prompt to video, you will find a lot of tools. They are all paid, but you can use them. You can buy them, okay? One of them is Runway ML, for example, or InVideo. So it can create video from text, and you can also give a reference picture. Now, I haven't tried them. To be honest, I'm not an expert in video or images. I've used a few of these, but I'm more focused on content, on text generation more than videos. But I don't think you can recreate a class session based on specific, let's say, pictures. Maybe if you have a lot of pictures and you can use them as reference frames, let's say if you have 500 and it's a pretty static environment, yeah, maybe you can do something with it. But yeah, I think it would be best to go back to the first scenario where you train a system like HeyGen to imitate you.
Absolutely. I think that is a great response to the query. The next question is, what generative AI tool seems to provide the best results for creating educational content?
For me, it's Claude and ChatGPT, DeepSeek as well, and Gwen as well, I would say. ChatGPT is very good. Claude is very good as well, but they are more expensive in terms of usage. DeepSeek is really good and is 20 times cheaper, but there are some issues with capacity right now. I think in the future this will be fixed. Mistral and Gemini, not so good, but still good. I mean, you've seen the content generated. Yeah.
Okay, moving ahead, we have another question. How can educators balance the use of AI to enhance learning outcomes while ensuring it fosters critical thinking, creativity, and ethical responsibility in students?
Okay, how can AI can be used to?
How can educators or teachers
Okay, yeah,
balance the
okay.
use of AI to
Balance the use of AI.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, enhance their learning outcomes?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a very important and on the point question, and I think there is no perfect answer for this. We've just started to scratch the surface of what these tools can do. But if you start following the right people on social media, like Ethan Mollick, like Mike Kens, like Nick Podkalitsky, these are people who do research, who perform research on these issues. You will see that critical thinking can be improved using AI. Okay, it can be improved, but there are quite a few things that we need to do in advance. We need to have policies in place in our school, in our university. We need to teach we need to educate our educators how to use AI, and the educators, they need to educate the learners how to use AI. And using AI, the proper use of AI is not just to type in a question and get a reply which I can copy paste and give to my professor or to my teacher. Okay, it needs to provoke our thinking. We need to reflect on the outputs and think about with intent on the next question that we're going to ask, so we can build on the output that we already received. So we need to use AI with intent. We need to reflect on the outputs. We need to think about if the output is biased. We need to think about what's missing from this content, and we need to be guided by the educators and the teachers who are actually the experts in the subject. But maybe I didn't answer the question really well, but I truly believe that, or in a coherent way, I think that critical thinking can be used to AI can be used to and reinforce critical thinking, but we need to do it in a very structured and balanced way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think a follow-up question from the same person. As AI continues to shape educational practices, what concrete measures should institutions adopt to ensure the AI systems remain transparent, fair, and accountable while protecting the privacy and autonomy of
Yeah.
both students and educators?
Great question. So in the EU, we have the EU Act. The EU Act is the law right now in all European countries, in all EU countries, let's say. And there is a risk traffic light system. And if the application is risky, like face recognition, then you need to pass compliance tests. Okay, so there are laws and regulations that everyone needs to follow. Okay, and it's really important to acknowledge that. Another thing is that where do all the chat interactions that we do in the classrooms, where do they go, right? And there are tools which we can use, local tools and local models on our computers where we send nothing to anyone. So we process everything locally. There are such tools that we can use and which ensure the privacy of ourselves and our students. Okay, so there are some things that we can do. And as a matter of fact, I kind of trust OpenAI at least because their privacy policy is quite transparent. You can go read it, and it will actually tell you if and when they use the chat transcriptions to train their models. Okay, so you need to see case by case. I wouldn't trust DeepSeek to have, not to check my chat transcripts, but I would trust OpenAI not to check my transcriptions if I ask them to.
Wonderful response. The next one is, what do you think of chatpdf.com?
You don't need it. You don't need chatpdf.com. You can do 90% of what you need within any of these large language models. I already showed you all the large language models. They all take attachments. So you don't need to go to ChatPDF to upload your PDF file and ask questions. You can do that in all large language models that we've seen today.
Great. The next question is, could you also send us a template that can assist us in entering clear prompts?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I will share my prompts, and then you can use those prompts to adapt it and create your own prompts.
That's very kind of you. Thanks, George. So moving ahead, we have another question. Do we have recommendations about how to create courses that are pedagogically sound, that is engaging students and inspiring them, they learn deeply as opposed to just memorizing, engage in higher order thinking, and create autonomously learners?
Yeah. So this is a huge subject. It's not just about how we create content which will make our learners critical thinkers and make us better thinkers. It's a broader issue of education, and I'll just highlight a few points. Education has to change. It needs to change. Assessments are broken. The only thing that we do right now, that teachers do right now, unfortunately, is they ask from their students to recite content back. They basically, what's required from them in most subjects is to learn things by heart and then come back and write them in an exam. That's the core of the issue. So Once we start changing that, then we can start creating assessments which do not assess just the end product, for example, the essay that someone wrote, but assess the whole process of learning. Because if someone gives me an essay, I don't know if they've learned. I cannot see the process of learning anywhere. I can only assess the result. So if I move from a product-based assessment to a process-based assessment, then I can see throughout the way all the stages of learning. And this, for example, can include research on the internet using Perplexity, drafting an outline using ChatGPT, discussion with my peers and my colleagues on what to include, what to leave out, creating a presentation with images, and then standing in front of the class to present it. So this is a process that I can assess and give feedback along the way to all my students without just waiting the end product, the presentation. I can see what they're doing throughout this process and assess the learning process instead of waiting just for the output. So again, it's a huge subject, but this is the gist of it.
Great. I think we had the next question, which is quite interesting. In music industry, is there a possibility to use AI for writing the notation of music, transcribing? Is there any app or platform that you'd recommend?
So there are no, I mean, I'm not into music. I'm the wrong person to ask. But there is generative AI can create music, and you can try. There is an app. It's called Suno.ai. Let me type it in, Suno.ai, and you can use it to create songs. Either you can either give it the lyrics and it will create the music, or you can give it the theme. For example, create a song about AI search and make it a rap song. And then it will create a rap song for AI search, for example. But transcribing music, I think you probably mean if I have the notes on sheet music, how can I transcribe it into digital? I'm not sure how to do that. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not into music that much, but I'm not sure. Maybe you can scan it, upload it onto an LLM, and ask it to do that, and codify it in a way so that you can transcribe it into actual music.
This definitely makes me curious now. I think
Yeah,
it's going to disrupt the music industry.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the next question is, what do you think about the AI course factory?
What's the AI course factory? I don't know what it is.
Um,
Maybe it's an
Yeah,
application which creates courses, which creates content for courses.
yeah.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I created CourseGenie.ai. That application, I mean, it's free to use. I'm going to type it in, CourseGenie.ai. Basically, you can use all my prompts for free through this application. Okay. I intend through this application to help instructors, teachers, and it's intended for instructor-led courses, not for self-paced courses or for e-learning. Okay, it's only to help educators create material like the ones I showed you for delivering in instructor-led courses. So I don't know Course Factory. I can tell you about my application, and you can use my prompts there to generate courses, projects, and so on.
Yeah, I think we should just let people explore and
Yeah,
create more
definitely.
modules for themselves. Well, I think I'm going to take another two more questions, George, tonight,
Yeah, no
with the
problem.
interest of time. Uh, which apps are best for coding without previous knowledge
Okay.
or understanding about how to code?
So there is lovable.dev. Let me type in it. I think it's written like that, lovable.dev, that you can use. You can also use Claude if you want, and you don't need to know coding. You can tell it, create an application or a tool to do this and that. Lovable.dev, though, I mean, I'm not a coder, so I'm not, I've tried a few of these. Lovable.dev will guide you through. It's easier for beginners, let's say, and you can create an actual application with a front end and a back end. But keep in mind that you need databases, you need a lot of other things to make this work. So if you are not a developer, it's not the easiest thing to do. Yes, it can help us in education to do things that we couldn't do before. It can augment us, it can augment educators, but it will not make us into developers.
Yeah, I think I would also recommend AI plus prompt engineering level 1 course that AI sets offer. You could probably take that, and that is just a right thing to start learning, right? So we do have a ready course and should teach you various different prompts for non-coders. The next question is it possible to upload a paper, ask AI to provide references for it and upgrade it for publication?
So if you can upload a research paper, I'm guessing, ask for
Yeah.
references. What does that mean? I'm not an academic. So ask it to look into the internet for.
I think it's more to do with somebody has written a paper and they want to
Yeah.
upload it in an AI tool and ask
Yeah.
AI to give references for the paper that they've created and upgrade it to I think a level where it can be published. I think it can. I mean, that's
Yeah. Oh, definitely,
that's what you touched upon. Yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely, you can do that. You can upload it. I'll also mention Google's Notebook LM, which is another great tool that you can use. You can upload your PDF documents. What you can also do is, if you find a great video that you want to use, you can take the YouTube link and upload it onto and use that in Notebook LM. It will take the transcript of that video, and then you can use it to create your lessons, for example. So Notebook LM is also a great tool also for research papers, because it grounds the responses onto that specific source.
Well, I think, yeah, that brings us to the end of our AI educator demo session with you, George. A huge thank you for you and for all the sharing that you've done and the patience that you've had to take on so many questions. Thanks to every attendee making it so interesting. And well, if you're interested in diving deeper, check out the AI Plus Educator Certification Program for more structured learning. We'll be sending out the session recording soon, so stay tuned. Well, I think it's a wrap for today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and let's harness AI to revolutionize education. Any closing notes from you, George?
Well, I would like to thank you and AI Certs. It's been a lot of fun demonstrating and answering all the questions. I love sharing what I know, and I would definitely love doing this again. So
amazing. I think we'll
let's
have another
schedule another one.
session.
Yeah.
Yes, very soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever, whichever part of the globe you're in. Thanks so much for your patience and yeah, bye until we meet again. Thanks, George. Bye.
Bye, Rahim. Bye.